Yeah, 3 mythics in a foil rare. I'm afraid that we're just out of value in this box. But who knows? I've heard plenty of weird things happening here. Foil, Aquastrand Spider, rare, Apocalypse Hydra. Blistering Soul Eater. It's meh. Thrumming Bird. Tarashi's Grasp. Scuttling Death. Stoic Rebuttal. Kami of Ancient Law. Inner Flame Igniter. Simic Initiate. Ulamog's Crusher. Gust Skirmisher. Azorius Chancery. Selesnius Sanctuary. And Aethercast Knight. An Apocalypse Hydra. Whew.
Not a good one?
Well, as long as you can cast it for 5 or more, it's ridiculous. Or Xyz 5, so 7 total.
2 bounce lands in the same pack?
Yeah. Actually, I think I happened last time, too.
That was a good catch by the Overmaster.
And for anyone who's watching this on YouTube, we're doing this live on twitch.tv/thegamersdome. So you know, subscribe. We do stuff like that. Ooh, that's a foil Thoughtcast. That's not bad. Indomitable Archangel. Man, are we gonna end up in another artifact deck? Kozilek's Predator, Thief of Hope, Plagued Rusala. This guy, Plagued something. Narcolepsy, Otherworldly Journey, Bone Splinters, Fiery Fall, Sylvan Bounty. Hey, Fiery Fall and Sylvan Bounty next to each other. Now we're talking. Did we open anything good in the last sealed? No, only our foil rare, which was the black-green hybrid dude. Yeah, Indomitable Angel's fine anyway, period. A Dark Confidant, a Karn, and a Elish Norn. Garbage. Sickle Slicer. That's why I'm concerned we're not going to get anything here. Rune Servitor. Cytoplast Runekin. Huh. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking there.
Did you freeze there?
Yeah. I was not familiar with that card, so I was reading it real fast. Incandescent Soulstroke, and there's a lot of text there. And Lightning Bolt, I know what that one does.
Ah.
If you don't know what Lightning Bolt does, why not? Why do they put cards in that are not tokens? Like, it's stupid. They get thrown away. At least on the tokens, you keep half of them.
Like the advertising cards?
Yeah. Ooh, Alloy Mirror. Man, they're tempting me here to try to go 5 color. Mirror Entity. This guy's interesting. Blood Ogre. Nameless Inversion. Steady Progress. Conclave Phalanx. The Plagued Ruskai. Still can't pronounce. Narcolepsy. Gnarled Pack. Goblin Fireslinger. Gut Shot. Mirror Enforcer. Why is this over here? Flash Freeze. Eldrazi Temple. Huh? Bestial Menace. Bestial Menace, not exactly a bad card. Yeah, Mirror Entity is pretty ridiculous. Oh, there's an Eldrazi Spawn. Now there's a Basilica. As our foil, our rare is Banefire. Like a good X spell. Somber Hoverguard. My friend, Skyreach Manta. I heart this guy so much.
Why is he your friend?
Why is he my friend? Because this guy got me to Dublin. Plain and simple.
All right.
He owned for me day 2 of Vegas 2013. And I was getting them late, and I was happy to take them late. Sunspear Shikari, Instill Infection, Stoic Rebuttal, Kami of Ancient Law, Blades of Velis Vel, Sylvan Bounty, Darksteel Citadel, Flayer Husk, Expedition Map. Oof. Yeah, they're begging me. They are begging me to go 5-color. Scavenger Drake, Drooling Grudion. Oh yeah, that guy. That guy's fun. They're begging me to go 5-color. You don't really have to beg too much.
No, that's kind of your style.
Raise the Alarm. Foil.
I know that card.
The Eye of Eugene.
That's worth ducats.
A little bit. Not. It's interesting.
All right, never mind.
The colorless creature card. If I want to pay 7 to go get my Skyreach Manta or my Alloy Mirror. Tribal Flames, or my crush right now. Thief of Hope, Bone Splinters, Cloud Elemental, the Super High Flyer, Troshy's Grasp, Scuttling Death, Sylvan Bounty, Smash to Smithereens. We're going 5 colors, guys. It's pretty much going to happen. Tukatung Thalid, Darksteel Citadel, Combust, Devouring Greed, and Pillory of the Sleepless. Last one. Come on, get the hookups. Kavu Primarch is the foil. Scut Mob. That guy's pretty interesting. Guy's pretty sick.
Interesting, good.
It's not too often you want your 1-drop on like turn 6. I don't know if Crash knows the card. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 5 or more lands, put 4 +1/+1 counters on him.
Whoa.
Scatter the Seeds, Thrumming Bird, Fairy Mechanist, Apostle's Blessing, Instill Infection, Vapor Snag, Goblin Warpaint, Gnarled Pack, Sickle Slicer, Ulamog's Crusher, Golgari Rot Farm, begging, Mortar Pod, and Electrolyze. Okay. Like, honestly, we can play what we want, I think. We have a Fiery Fall and 3 Sylvan Bounties. Not to mention how many multi-lands? 4? 4 multi-lands. Citadels. 2. Kind of moving stuff on up here. Crushers, Electrolyze, multis, and the artifacts. Okay. So what do we see that we definitely were like, this is nuts? Well, we know the entity's nuts. And I'm going to go with Indomitable Angel being pretty nuts as well. I'm a big Otherworldly Journey fan. Apostle's Blessing is like, you play it, period. I don't even care if I'm playing white or not. Sunspear Shikari very likely may get played in this deck. There may be other ones that get played, but we're going to kind of start there. Mechanist for going this route. The Thrumming Birds are going to need. We're going to need something on the Thrumming Birds if we want to play them. Vapor Snags. I like Cloud Elemental. Stoic Rebuttal. I wouldn't like Stoic Rebuttal. Well, I wouldn't like it unless we have Metalcraft. So I don't mind paying 2. It's paying 3 I kind of have a problem with. Thoughtcast. Somber Hoverguard. Sure. Flash Freeze is definitely a sideboard card. I'm just not a huge Narcolepsy fan. I mean, the card's fine if you don't have anything else. Steady Progress, again, is going to be the whole, do we have stuff to proliferate? So, I'm going to put the Soak Rebuttals up here for now. That's just for now. Kind of make multiple piles. Instill Infection seems... I mean, it's a cantrip. If we have a Spirit deck, but I mean, I don't know, maybe there is. Scuttling Death. Bone Splinters. Thief of Hope. Scavenger Drake is... Scavenger Drake can be very nice. There's the another infection. Plague Ruscula is definitely a combo in here with the Drake. Nameless Inversions, great removal. Again, Scuttling Death kind of in on the whole spirit thing. Thief of Hope. Ruscula's are in on that as well. Splinters. The black's not bad. We actually could have a possible spirit deck here. Like Otherworldly Journeys, Arcane. Mirror Entity obviously is Soul Shifter. So now I'm just kind of like looking back. Like Kami of Ancient Law, a couple of those, a couple of Trashi's Grasps. We might have a spirit deck here. I'm pretty much just going to take all the black and set it to the side, because I feel like we're either going to go with a spirit deck with this, or we're just not going to play it. Warpaint. A Combustion, again, a sideboard card, so a Smash. Tribal. Banefire. You just find the red. Now this becomes a little interesting here. Possibly, no, not really. I mean, Blood Ogre's fine. Like, if we are in on an aggressive deck, which could make Bloodshot or Gutshot good if you need it to trigger a Bloodthirst. Obviously, Bolt. I don't know about a lot of elementals. Incandescent Soulstroke. Though, Shapeshifter. So they can be elementals. Fiery Fall is great because of the basic land cycling. Well, like we're playing Banefire. Like let's just put the Banefire here because this card is going to get into the deck. Period. I will find a way of putting it in. How many of these produce red? Any of them? No, of course not. Of course none of them produce red. I think the green's going to be where we can determine if we can truly go like 5 color. And if so, does it make sense? Scut Mob is silly. Primarch, yes. Bounty, Bounty, Bounty. You guys realize that you never actually cast this card, right?
Why not?
Like, you would almost never cast this card. Paying 6 mana to gain 8 life is not generally what you want to do. Though I suppose it could be good late.
Feed the clan, bro.
Yeah, I skipped over Scatter. It would probably make the deck. I can't see why it wouldn't. Bestial Menace. Gnarled Pack at the very least. I mean, even at a 2-drop 2/2 isn't bad. Cytoplast, well, especially with Cytoplast Runekin. That guy's just moving stuff around. Kozilek's Predator. Got the Spider. These are like whatever. There's some pretty good green stuff here that can just like kick out just like all sorts of dudes. I'm still just kind of digesting everything right now.
A lot to think about.
Apocalypse Hydra. I can't imagine not playing Apocalypse Hydra. Especially if we know we're going to play Banefire. Kind of the same with Electrolyze if we're going to go into blue. Drooling Grudion's really good, but we're going to have to end up in black and green.
Yeah, that actually a comment was just made for black-green sacrifice.
Yeah. There may be a black-green sacrifice deck here.
Yeah, grind your opponents into oblivion. Sounds like you would hate fun.
Pillory of the Sleepless is great card. Ethercast Knight. We certainly like that. Let's look at the artifacts. This is kind of where some of this is going to come into play. Like, Skyreach Mance is definitely a 5-color card. Like, I might play it if I was playing 4 colors, but if I'm playing 4 colors, I'm probably finding a way of playing a 5th. Mortarpod's not bad if we're playing like a little token deck. We can just kind of move it around and throw it, and move it around and throw it, and move it around and throw it. Those little Eldrazi dudes. And even 2 mana for, basically 2 mana for a 1 damage isn't the worst thing I've ever seen. That's still a 3-drop 2/2. It's not amazing, but Expedition Map, really good, especially with 4 of those lands. Alloy Mirror. See, that's the thing, is that we really could kind of pull this off if we really wanted to. Like, I don't think it would be a problem at all to pull it off. So if we're pulling it off, then we're kind of trying to play like the best cards. So I want to first, though, take a look at this black-green sacrifice deck, because I agree that this could be potentially something really good. You can say yuck at them all you want, but let me tell you, I rode that in the first Modern Masters, and they've given us the tools to ride it again. Yeah, there's a lot of spirits here. Spirits and Arcane. What do we have here? Oh, first of all, what do we have here that's just Spirit? Absolutely nothing, which is I'm not too shocked by. That counts as casting in. Yeah, whenever you cast a Spirit or Arcane spell. So this counts as a Spirit spell. So does that. That's an Arcane. We like that. This card's just good, period. That card's just good. I don't know. We have to equip this guy. I'm not so sure. See, I was talking about black-green, but now I'm looking at like just the Spirit deck. Because we do have 2 Thief of Hopes. Like if we didn't have 2, I'd probably be like, nah. But having 2, along with like Mirror Entity. Raise the Alarm's good with Mirror Entity. Grasp or Kami. I wouldn't mind main decking a Grasp in this format. I feel like it's going to have a target more often than not. So this is kind of looking at like a black-white deck. So we've got Pillory in this one as well. The 2 Instills would make this. The Drake would make this. The Splinters would probably make this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. Okay, so we have an option here. Now let's get rid of the white. Let's get rid of most of the white. Everything else might not get played. You find a way of playing Mirror Entity, especially since 3 of our lands up there produce white. Green. I mean, here's where we really have the stuff that can abuse the hell out of Mirror Entity. Pack Bestial Menace. Hey, sure, I'll take 3 creatures for 5 mana, and they're not all 1/1s. That is all 1/1s, but we'll play them. And the Sylvan Bounties, like, make sure that we have what we want at all times. Scut Mob. I suspect Kavu Primarch, but it kind of would depend here on what we're going to do. Drooling Grudion for sure. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Expedition map. Artifact creature fish. Fish.
That's weird.
Alloy Mirror. I feel like you have to play Scavenger Drake in this. I mean, I guess if we're going just... Well, God. I kind of feel like these are like almost must plays. Like in whatever we're doing, they're just must plays. I think we've... I mean, this deck is fine. But I really think we have every tool we need to abuse the crap out of a 5-color deck. So I'm going to really look at that right now as what I want to do. So let's just start kind of with our base here. We know that's making it. Fiery Fall will for sure make it. The Sylvan Bounties make it. They're great.
It would be so fun to play test these.
Yeah. Scatter and Bestial Menace still both make it for sure. Because of what they produce. Kozilek's Predator might make it. Alloy Mirror Expedition Map. So we're just basically looking for the broken cards here. We're looking for just the stuff that is just silly. Where do we have this? Oh, hey, there's a lightning bolt. I heard once that card's good. I don't know where I heard it. Incandescent Soulstroke could be very interesting. Especially if we're shape-shifting some things out. Maybe. It's kind of a maybe there. There's nothing else here that really just is like... I mean, if I go that, I would play the Blades, for sure.
You got some snaps on your camera angle, so good job on the tech specs.
The what?
The camera angle looks good.
Oh.
You got compliments on that.
Thank you. I'll be honest. I spent a lot of time working on it.
I mean...
I was just hoping I wasn't going to bump something and screw the whole thing up. Blue? I don't think that would make it. Vapor Snag. I think Fairy Mechanist just makes it anyway, even though we might be really low on artifacts. Like, he's a 2/2 flyer by himself. He could find the Alloy Mirror. He could find the Expedition Map. He could find... Oh, hell, he could find Skyreach Manta. Absolutely could find Skyreach Manta. Or Blinding Soul Eater. I think that card's... I love this card. I think this card's amazing. We'd want to play the Mortar Pod if we went with the token deck, though. We might play it in this one. Raise the alarm. Indomitable Angel becomes interesting. We're going to put it over here. It is double white, which could potentially be an issue, but we do have, like, again, we have 3 lands up there that produce white. I like Journey. But actually we have to be a little careful here, because Journey doesn't work so well on my tokens. 1, 2... Doesn't work real well on this thing either. 2... Doesn't work well with this guy. Works great with... I'm getting a little concerned here. I'm getting more than a little concerned. We don't have a lot of creatures. We have a lot of creature tokens. I mean, Otherworldly Journey can always hit your opponent's stuff too, like their tokens. There's a lot of tokens in this environment. Like, I'm trying to look at the 5 color. I'm not sold on it yet, but I'm certainly looking at it. I mean, the fact that we have just fixing for days. But Mechanist probably Actually, probably doesn't make it. Maybe, I don't know. I'd go back and forth on that. Know what? We build around Mirror Entity. We have the cards to build around Mirror Entity. Let's build around Mirror Entity. Like, this card is silly. And the deck that builds around Mirror Entity is going to make a lot of creatures anyway. So, we don't care. Like, if we don't see our Mirror Entity, we don't care. Kozilek Predator, Scut Mob, Cytoplast, Rootkin, Blessings in for sure. For playing white, Indomitable Angels in for sure. Raise the Alarm. Like right now I'm just looking for anything that produces multiple creatures. And we still may end up in a... We still very well may end up in a 5/5 or more than two color. Because with the Sylvan Bounties, they're great thin too. That's the other beautiful thing about Sylvan Bounties. They go get you a land, they'll thin your library. So help you go find that Mirror Entity. If we're going to play the Bounties, we're still definitely going to play the Banefire. And if we're playing green, we're definitely playing Apocalypse Hydra. Tribal Flames, I believe, would make this deck. We're playing red, so the Bolt is in. So these two are kind of on the outside right now. Expedition Map is pretty required. I think this is the deck we're going to end up going with. The Sacrifice deck is fine, but I feel like it's a little fragile. God, if this guy wasn't double black, I'd love him if he wasn't double black. He'd be in this deck in a heartbeat. At double black, he's very concerning whether or not I could cast him. Backup's Blessing, Rare Entity, Sylvan Bounty. Looking at Steady Progress. Is Steady Progress... You know, I mean, we still do have this. 17, we could still kind of get the best pieces of this deck.
We did have a request for a green, white, black, splash red.
I think that's what we're doing right now.
All right.
I believe that's the direction we're heading at the moment.
Well, chat, you are doing a good job of predicting the future.
Mm. We still don't actually have that many spirits. Though, there is that whole Mirror Entity for one, Devouring Greeju. I like Scuttling Deaths. because if they kill my mirror entity, they can bring it back. This thing can also soul shift a nameless inversion, which is neat. And we have to play Pillory if we're going to play black and white. Yeah, the blue's reasonable, but God, I guess only one of our lands up here is blue. Yeah, I think we can get away from blue, even with Electrolyze. I think we can get away from the blue altogether. Wait, I did not put that in the right pile. So now we're starting to make cards we can get away from. We can get away from main deck Combust. I think it's pretty easy. Well, Conclave Phalanx is good because we're making a lot of tokens, but in the same respect, I don't think that's not this deck. That's a sideboard card. I think Kami of Ancient Law will also end up being a sideboard card, though a really good one if necessary. Same with Tarashi's Grasp. See, I would play... I'd probably play Tarashi's Grasp over Smash to Smithereens. Just because of the arcane factor and the double Thief of Hope. I think we can get away from that guy. Definitely get away from those. Ulamog Crushers. They're 8. I think Mortipod's going to make it before I'm done. That's what I think. The Citadel's out for sure. Bye-bye Eye for sure. Eldrazi Temple. Yeah, definitely gone. Man, we may just have enough black to consider playing the Drooling Grudion. But, oh, we're splashing the red. So if we're splashing the red, then Fiery Fall. Let's see, Fiery Fall is just good. Like, I don't mind casting this spell. Like, I don't have a problem with casting it. I don't like casting Sylvan Bounty. I think we can pretty easily get away from everything else that's here. Yeah, if we were going to go sacrifice, there's the other thing for sacrifice. So we're going to get away from all this as main. I'm not going to main the Smash. Yeah, we're away from all of this. Mortarpod, yeah, I think we have to. We don't have to do anything. I could play all the crappy cards. I could play Devouring Greed with no spirits. I'd be stupid, but we're definitely not playing Mirror Enforcer. We're definitely not playing Gust Skirmisher. Sickle Slicer just doesn't seem to really have a big place in this deck. I personally don't think it does. Flare Husk is, another one that I don't think has a place. And we already know my feelings on Rune Servitor, so...
What are your feelings?
Bleh.
Oh.
I don't like anything that could allow my opponent to draw cards.
Oh, yeah.
What... My... Rune Servitor?
Oh, God, please, no! 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 No!
Oh, you're so weird.
I have a soundboard. I just sometimes forget I have a soundboard. I think we get away from all of this. God, Bone Splinters. How do you not play Bone Splinters in a deck that's kicking out a bunch of random... I mean, I guess we're not really kicking out that many randoms. I mean, there's Raise, yes, there's Scatter. At least one of the things with Bestial Menace is random. Kozilek's Predator. Thief of Hope. That's... Get away from this guy. I think we get away from the Drake. I think if we're getting away from Bone Splinters, we're definitely getting away from Instill Infection. If this card was one less, I'd be all about it. Does Blinding Soul Eater do enough to justify it being in this deck? Maybe. Probably not. Skyreach Manta does, though. I'll take a 5 casting cost 4/4 flyer. But we're still over. That's the problem, is we're way over here. Over by like way too much. This is a hard format to build, guys. And that's one thing to note. When you go to build your decks, concentrate. Now, mind you, if I wasn't talking through all of this, I'd probably have this figured out a little faster.
Yeah, but then we don't get to know what you're thinking.
Well, precisely. That's why you don't see me with like a 30-minute clock here.
Yeah, if I was sitting here building and there were the usual chatty Cathy's that talk about their cards, I would give them a look.
Well, yeah. At a GP, though, that typically doesn't happen. And I won't lie, having 2 buys is amazing because it really doesn't happen there. Because those guys you know are hardcore. I mean, we got to get away from something here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, 28, 30.
So we're at 30?
Yeah, we're at 30. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to take everything here and I'm going to split it out into kind of what it is. Creature. Kind of like removal. Creature makes creatures. Ramp. Creature. Creature. Removal. Creature, removal, removal. You can't really call this ramp, it's just fixing. Makes creature. Hang on, I got these in the wrong one. Makes creatures, creature and makes creatures. The hell do you do with Mortar Pod? Makes a dude that's probably just going to get thrown or sacrificed to Bone Splinter.
So I've asked the chat what they think we should cut, and we'll see where we end up.
Scut Mob, Cytoplast, Runekin, Alloy, Mirror, but I'm going to put Mirror more under the ramp category. Removal. This is ramp / removal. Removal, removal, removal. Spirits. Okay, we're going to get away from the Thieves of Hope. God. Yeah, we're getting away from the Thieves of Hope. For sure. The Scuttling Deaths are still nice because they still will get an inversion. They still can get back the Mirror Entity. Who, I mean, you don't want that guy dying. But that's really all they get back. This guy's a 5 casting cost 4/2. That is not exactly value. It just doesn't bring back anything else. I think we're playing too much for too little. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. We have 8 creatures now. I mean, 9 if you count the mirror. I guess we should count the mirror in this. And then 4 more that make. So that's 13. We're not cutting Banefire. We're not cutting Blessing. We're not cutting Pillory. I think we'd be silly to cut Nameless Inversion. Well, yeah, I think we'd be silly to cut Nameless Inversion. The card's really good. We're not cutting Bolt. We're not cutting Tribal Flames. We're not cutting Fiery Fall. We might cut some bounties. We don't cut map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 21. God, these cards are nuts. Yeah, the Thieves brings back inversion. It's awesome, but like that's really it. And you can't play it just for that. We got to cut Bone Splinter. Both of them. Now, that said, we might be able to run a 16 land deck given the fact that we have a Fiery Fall and 3 Sylvan Bounties. Alloy Mirror. Like 16 wouldn't shock me at all. Expedition Map. Expedition Map good with Scut Mob. X 6 5 3 4 2 5 5 sort of. 2 hopefully like 3. Version 3, yeah, it's either 1 or 2. X 1. I can't even put bounties and Fiery Falls at 6 because they're almost never going to actually get. These are 2s. The Fiery Fall might be a 6, but it's probably a 2. Bolt at 1, Tribal Flames there. Really, that's a 7. It can be cast for less, but you really want to cast it at 7. I think we have enough stuff with map and the fact that we're going to run. We're not going to run this one. I don't think we run that one. Do we run that one just for acceleration? Just call it a planes? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you know what? We run it because we have Manta. Yeah, white's not that hard. That's the thing. We've got this. This is a 16 land deck. We have our deck here. And now, before, I've just been like, oh, 7 this, 7 of that. This is not that deck. You run all uncolor. You run the Azorius Chancery too, because if you have the Chancery on the board, screw it. You can have a 5/5 Manta. And when you're playing 4 colors, every bounce land is on color. It just might not be double on color. Green, green. Black, green, red. Come on, Scott. You know what the color wheel looks like. Well,
Wooberg, bro.
what?
Wooberg.
What?
Wooberg.
Wooberg?
Color wheel.
Oh. Tell me she didn't just say that.
What's wrong with that?
Wooberg. Sounds like an old wrestler parody. Wooberg.
All right.
Wooberg. Aww. I can't play this. I can't play this. This is double black. I have 2 other black spells. We got a Bone Splinter in. We found room for a Bone Splinter, boys and girls. Is there any deck you play Bone Splinters over Sylvan Bounty? Absolutely, there are decks I would play Bone Splinters over Sylvan Bounty. Just not ones that are 4 colors. This is when I need one of my pads of paper.
Uh-oh. Complex mana?
Well, it's a little interesting. It's a little interesting. So I have a kind of a thing that I do here. So 5 star this because of the double white, which I think is not going to be a problem. 3 black, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's all sorts of stars on the green. Well, actually, oh, you guys can actually see that reasonably well. Hey. Excuse me, 5 on the red. Okay, how about we just do this when we can actually write numbers properly? 3, 5, 9. 9's, I'm not even going to star 9 because we know that we're going to be playing enough green to get there. Okay, so for white, we have 3. We're not even counting any of the blue. Black, we have 2. Red, we have womp womp. And we have 2 green. We need 16 lands, so we need 12 more. So we need 12 basics. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 because of the bounties. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ugh. No, because we only need 1 red. See, this is kind of like not there. No, I think we can actually go 2 here. And maybe go 1 more there on the red. God, I'm even actually considering going one more on the green. I mean, the green is just pivotal to see. You don't want to get stuck with Sylvan Bounties and not be able to use them. I mean, we do have Alloy Mirror and Expedition Map, but again, well, I think that's all the more reason why you just go 3 here. You don't want to miss your green drop, period. So, 2 plains, 1 swamp, 3 mountain, 6 forest. Now this is a deck I can get behind. Though I am looking at all these Sylvan Bounties. I'm trying to think, is there room for a Bone Splinter? I do think Bone Splinter is good. I do think it should get played. We might just have, God forbid, too much go find fix. I just said I wouldn't play Bone Splinters over a Sylvan Bounty in a 4-color deck, and I just played Bone Splinters over Sylvan Bounty in a 4-color deck. Please do not mind the guy who is talking out of both sides of his mouth. I'd almost want to cut the Fiery Fall, except this card's really good late. Like 5 damage. Just late, this is just removal. Yeah, I think that's a deck. Let's make sure that, again, that we're correct here on number of cards. But yeah, it looks like we are. Yeah, 24, 12, and 12 basics. What am I not playing something that I should, like Blinding Soul Eater? I think Soul Eater is definitely a sideboard card. There's a lot of sideboard cards here. A lot of cards you could bring in.
Well, that's good to have that flexibility, right?
Yeah. Otherworldly Journey, Aquastrand Spider, even like Scuttling Deaths and Thieves of Hope could be really good against like burn. Against like burn removal type strategies or really fast. That guy could be good. Instill Infection could be definitely a sideboard card. Even Ruskala's. Like, you could board into the Spirit deck. And the Spirit deck would not be bad. Like, against an aggressive build, like a deck that was super aggressive, I might just go into the Spirit deck. Like, super aggressive with removal. If you don't have removal, I think we can hold up to you. As is. But I could definitely see boarding into just the whole Spirit deck. Yeah. Especially if they have like a lot of enchantments. Phalanx could come in pretty easily.
How do you feel this pool compares to the 3 you've opened so far?
I like this one better than number 1, but probably not quite as good as number 2. I do feel like this is a little janky, and that's coming from me. I like playing janky decks. Might be it's not too janky for me. Don't get me wrong. No. It's not too janky for me. But it's an interesting deck. It's got a few ways of getting there. Mirror Entity can get you there. Apocalypse Hydra, I mean, that guy's just big. I think he dies a lot of different ways, but he's definitely something they're going to have to deal with. Even Cytoplast Runekin can be pretty big. And you've got Pillory, you've got Bone Splinters and Inversions, you've got some cheap removal. Scut Mob is definitely a win condition. Yeah. So anyone... First of all, by the way, if you haven't followed me, please do. We have at least one more of these we're going to do. And we also play a ton of Moto. I probably play more Magic Online than I should. For a guy who tries to play a lot of different games, I've actually done pretty well lately. I top 32 the last PTQ.
We got our box of Modern Masters. We're going to do 4 sealed. This is the third one.
This is the third one.
The other 2 are on YouTube.
Yeah, they're on YouTube. If somebody wants to run the YouTube command, which is just !YT. That will give... yeah, there we go. Also follow me on Twitter. The Gamers Dome. I usually will tweet out when I'm going to go live. And you know what? This deck can get there. This deck could definitely get there. It's got a lot of different ways of getting there. Mirror Entity Rush. Just hitting him with like a big flyer like an Indomitable Archangel. I mean, that's fine. Get you close, burn you out. I wouldn't be too upset with this. I wouldn't love it, but I wouldn't be too upset. So. I don't see... I'm looking to see if there's any questions that maybe were back that I haven't answered.
No, there were just, a lot of different cards that people suggested, and that's the fun thing about sealed is that people will build it differently. You give it to 20 people, you get 20 different builds, right?
Yeah, I feel like this deck especially, like there's probably at least 4 decks here that I couldn't fault anyone if they wanted to go. Like if you wanted to go Black-Green Sacrifice, I couldn't fault you. If you wanted to go White-Green Spirit, I couldn't fault you. I know there's at least another deck in this. Like this is kind of a personal choice. This one was very versatile, but it does show the complexity of the format, and which is why I personally love it. So, and that is one thing I'll tell you. As much advice as I'll give you about deck building, one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you is build what you're comfortable with. Don't play a deck that you're not comfortable with, or you'll lose. So,
good job.
Yep. So, for YouTube people, this is Scott for the Gamers Dome. And we got one more coming. It's going to be tomorrow, Tuesday. So come see it. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. We put out awesome new content all the time. So the most important thing you can do is click here to subscribe. If you love gaming and just want to see all the newest videos we have out, go ahead and click here. If all you really care about is just this game, click up here to see everything we've done for it. And if there's another specific game you're looking for, we have a few listed here that you can click on. But make sure you check out our homepage because we're adding new videos and new games all the time. This is Scott Garrett for the Gamers Dome. Keep playing, everyone.